Hey everybody, this is William Cunningham of My Hope in Marriage. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're having a great life, and I do hope you're having a great marriage. If not, this particular video might help you. I hope it does. If you're in an unhappy, sexless marriage, a lot of times when you say unhappy marriage, it's referring to something that's sexless, because if the marriage is unhappy, that probably means there's a disconnect emotionally and so forth. So sex is probably one of the first things to go. Okay. All right. But anyway, you can visit My Hope in Marriage online at www.myhopeinmarriage.com. You can read the articles. Of course, I have these videos. And on YouTube, if you like this video, give it a like, and I would really, really like to hear from you, your comments. I'll probably have a corresponding article on the website. And I, again, would like to have your comments, especially from the ladies, because I give these videos and the articles from a man's perspective, from a husband's perspective, because the presentation has become much easier for me to do it like that. Because before, when I first started this channel, or when I first started My Hope in Marriage, I was trying to do both, and it was just really, really awkward. So I just speak from a man's perspective, but just realize that the points discussed apply both ways. Okay, it goes both ways. A marriage requires two people, the man and the woman. All right. What do you do if you're in an unhappy marriage? And precisely, or more so, it's a sexless marriage, especially for the men. Even though women experience sexless marriage, there are women who desire more sex from their husband, but their husbands are, rejecting them. That does happen. We have the case where men feel rejected by their wives. And from my experience, from my research, just looking online, especially going on the marriage forums, you see a lot more men complaining about this. Okay. So what do you do if you are in an unhappy marriage, a sexless marriage? Sex is unhappy. If it's sexless, it's probably going to be unhappy, but not necessarily so. The couple may be okay with that. We're talking about the couples where at least one want more and is frustrated because he or she is not getting it. All right. Okay. So there are three things that you can really do. There are three major, things that you can do. Number one, what you can do, of course, assuming you stay in the marriage and you don't get a divorce, you can do three things while you're staying, while you're there, unhappy, no sex, or very little sex. And that is emotionally detach, work on yourself, and try to make it better. You're typically going to want to try to make it better, but there's going to come a point in the relationship where you've been trying to make it better for years, and sometimes maybe even for a couple decades, and it's just not getting better. The train is just further down the same track. So you may decide that you're just going to detach emotionally. And I'm gonna speak now from a male's perspective, because it just makes it easier and shorter. Okay. A guy will emotionally detach from his wife, because the Bible says, for example, in Proverbs 13 and 12, I believe it's 13 and 12, I wrote it down. But anyway, Proverbs 13 and 12, that hope deferred makes the heart sick. Hope that's prolonged makes the heart sick. Hope that's put off makes the heart sick. Another way of saying it, the desires that you have that are not fulfilled, and that desire and that time is expanded, then it causes you pain. I believe it's the Buddhists who believe that suffering occurs because of our desires, unfulfilled desires. All right. So you have a situation where you are unhappy because you're not receiving the what's expected from your wife. You're not from a man's perspective. Let's just look at it that way. From a woman's perspective, it could be a different object, a different thing. But just remember, there is a thing or things that cause you to be unhappy about things in the marriage. From a guy's perspective, he's not getting sex from his wife, so he doesn't have that emotional connection. He doesn't have that perspective of being or feeling loved and wanted and so forth and so on. So what a guy will do is he'll detach himself, emotionally detach himself. He's still going to do what he can for the home. He's still going to participate in, raising the kids and upkeeping of the house. He's still going to, care for his wife as far as helping making ends meet and so forth and so on. But he's not going to any longer emotionally or attempt to emotionally connect with him. Romance, he's just decided that that's not going to happen. I resolve that that's not going to happen. He says, I resolve that, there's not going to be any sex. I'm going to get rejected. So why even go down that path? He's going to emotionally detach. Because remember, for a guy, his emotional connection to his wife happens mostly through sex. All right. So if he's not getting that, then he's already being emotionally detached. But he's decided that he's not going to go down that path anymore. He's going to look at his wife in the bedroom in her underwear, where normally he probably still would get aroused. And he's going to want her sexually, but he's going to say, nope, I'm not going down that road. I'm just going to walk away, go do whatever, go brush my teeth, and then just go to bed or whatever, or go wherever I'm going, because he knows nothing's going to happen. He knows that his desire for her in that way is only going to produce pain. So what a guy will do, or a gal, but we're speaking about this from a man's perspective, what you will do is detach from your spouse. He will detach from his wife, and the wife may detach from her husband. Okay? And that is just a way to reduce the pain that attempting to connect is causing, and being rejected is causing. Right? So that's important. That's something that you can do. And that in a lot of cases, it could be a good thing because it'll help preserve the relationship. At least you're not fighting and angry with each other. You're still going to have some residual stuff. You're still going to have that residual desire. You're still going to look at her and she's going to be wearing something that's just sensual to you. And you're just going to have to curb it. But it's still going to be there a little bit. And what exacerbates this is the fact that she or he may be clueless, oblivious to the fact that you're suffering this way, even though you may have brought it to her or his attention. Okay? So it's very, very important that you realize that detaching from your spouse may be a way to reduce the pain that the unmet desire, the unfulfilled desire is having on your relationship. All right. So detachment, emotionally detaching. All right. Now remember, for a guy, an emotional detachment is an emotional attachment, an emotional connection to his wife occurs through intimacy, through sex. All right, so he's not even going to go that way anymore because there is going to be no emotional attachment. There's only going to be a functional attachment. He's going to relegate his feelings and so forth, his thoughts, to functionality. He and his wife will become roommates. They will become employees in household or co-workers in household incorporated. That will be the extent of their relationship. That's not ideal for most couples, but that's where a lot of marriages go anyway, without even trying. You end up being roommates because the romance, the emotional connections go out the window, and you're more concerned about the functional things, the daily grind, and so forth and so on. All right. Now, another thing I said that you can do is, of course, work on yourself. Make yourself a better person. Do what you can to be a better you. Learn a language. Do something that you want to do, something that you think will make you happy or fulfilled. You know, knowing, that you're not soliciting your spouse's involvement. You're just doing this because you want to, and you want to make it. Now, don't neglect your spouse, but you have to start prioritizing things a little differently because she's not going to be connected to you emotionally because that's how it's been for years. So, look, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to start a new business. I'm going to learn a new language. I'm going to start working out, like crazy. Maybe you may even decide to enter in some kind of bodybuilding contest. Men or women, women have it too. All right. So you'll do something, or you'll do things to secure your own happiness. You're not depending on your spouse to make you happy, which really you shouldn't do anyway. You should ensure that you have your own happiness. It's great if your spouse is involved in that, but in a lot of cases that may not be the case. All right. So you're going to do what you need to do to secure your own happiness and fulfillment. Now, the danger, I want to go back to the detachment. The danger with detachment is this: you've detached from your wife. But it's like my wife, she does this gardening, and it's this plant. I forget what it was, a bean or something. I forget what it was, but it throws out these tentacles, and it's just start finding things, and it'll curl around. It'll just grow all over the place. So what happens if you detach? If you detach from your spouse, you have to be careful because you may find yourself attaching to someone else. All right. Now that's you got to be careful. And that's the danger. So therefore, let me just say this. As a married couple, you should consider your spouse's expectations and needs. Talk about it, communicate, and try to meet each other's expectation. Even the Bible tells us that. Don't deprive yourself of what's due. The sexual relationship. Don't deprive yourself. I think I talked about that in another video, another article. But be sure. I mean, you do it with everything else. You do what you need to do to make your boss happy. You do what you need to do. Some of you, the more religious minded, you do what you do to make your pastor happy or your religious leader happy or somebody else that you respect. You do what you can to make that person happy or feel good about you or whatever the case may be. Why not do that for your spouse? I mean, that even makes sense. Do it for your spouse. Maybe dress for your husband a certain way. Dress for your wife a certain way. Do a certain thing that she or he likes. All right. So that way, ideally, you'll be attaching to each other. But if you find that you have to detach, then you have to be concerned. Let's say the husband detaches from his wife emotionally. Then he has to be concerned not to allow himself to attach to someone else romantically and so forth. And she has to be concerned that he is not connected to her. You've got to think about that. You cannot be oblivious. Ignorance is no excuse. All right. You should read books at least. Watch videos, which you're doing now. All right. So I wanted to bring that up because that's important when you detach. You want to be careful that you don't attach to someone else. You're only detaching because you want to mitigate or lessen the pain that you have from the fact that you keep getting rejected. All right. And you want to work on yourself. You want to be a better you. You want to look and say, wow, I've accomplished this. Maybe you went through a course and got another degree or whatever the case may be. You know, make yourself happy. Be happy. All right. Make yourself happy. And of course, another thing you may do, and you may do this up to a point, because, if you're getting to the point where you're detaching, you're probably already past what I'm going to say to step 3, and that is continue to try to make your marriage better. You always want those opportunities. But since you've already decided to detach, you're not trying that anymore, because that didn't work for years, maybe even decades. Some people will get to the point where they say, look, nothing's working, I'm out. All right, I'm out. And divorce is the next step. Separation is the next step. All right. So you want to continue to work at making the marriage better by communicating, expressing respectfully what's going on and how you feel about things, and talk things through and do things through. Not just talk about it, but do something about it. All right. But that, you may already be past that. But if you haven't been doing it, and if all you've been doing throughout your marriage is expecting your wife, for example, to cater to you and to meet your needs, then you need to check yourself. What have I done to contribute to the happiness of the marriage or to the success of the marriage? What have I done to contribute to the problems that we're having, the problems that I'm having? Maybe she's responding to some stupid stuff that I'm doing. Maybe he's responding to stupid stuff his wife is doing. You have to really consider that. All right. And when you think about making your marriage better, you're not trying to make it better by just getting your wife to acquiesce to you. You're making it better by working together, togetherness as a team, to help each other, meet each other's need. Compromises may have to be made. You may have to throw something out because, she may say, no way I'm doing that. All right. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to bring that up. Those are the 3 things. And one of the important thing is make yourself a better person. Make yourself a better husband. Make yourself a more desirable husband, a better wife, more desirable wife. All right. Learn each other's needs. Learn each other's love languages. Know each other better and cater to each other and make the marriage better. But if it's not, and you just keep trying and it's getting nowhere, but you don't want a divorce, then you may want to detach. We'll just make this a functional arrangement. We'll just be roommates. I don't like that. I don't want that. That's not what I expected when I got married. But here we are. I don't want a divorce because I just don't want it, whatever reason. And so we're roommates. We're co-workers in Household Incorporated. Our work will pay the bills, get a new house, go on vacation, whatever the case may be. But we will not have an emotional connection. But I'm going to work on me. And when the opportunity presents itself, I'll take that opportunity to perhaps make the marriage better. All right? All right. Well, I hope this has helped you. If you've liked this video, then, leave a comment. Tell me what you think, especially the ladies. Everybody, just tell me what you think. If you're watching this on YouTube, then, give me a like. You might want to even subscribe because I do put out these videos regularly. I try to do once a week, but sometimes it just takes me longer to prepare something, and I don't want to just start rambling. All right. So, but anyway, leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Most valuable thing to me is if you left a comment. All right. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know if you have other insights, whatever. Even if you disagree, that's okay. Tell me, and then tell me why, and so forth and so on. All right. Well, this is William Cunningham of My Hope in Marriage. You can visit My Hope in Marriage online at www.myhopeinmarriage.com. Well, until the next time, be blessed. Pursue that happy marriage. Have a great one, guys.